Hi there, I'm James Priestley and I'm the client coordinator here at Maple we're here today talking about making tax digital. So for that reason I brought Solene Blake at Maple Accountancy as well along, who heads our Zero team and is the expert on Zero. She's also fronting the digital switchover for clients to be compliant for the Making Tax Digital rules. You may have heard quite a bit from the revenue, you may not have heard anything at all, depending on how good their letters have been to you. Our purpose here today is to talk you through Making Tax Digital and what we know so far. So, without further ado, let's get on to some context. So the first part of the reasoning for HMRC introducing Making Tax Digital, or MTD for short, is that they want to become one of the most digitally advanced tax administrations in the world. They want to become part of what is currently known as the D5. The D5 consists of other countries, some of which you may be surprised to hear are involved, that have taken the move to creating a digital process for all of the country's tax returns and all of their processing of any submissions to their tax authority. So the two key drivers behind this are to increase the tax revenue and reduce the cost to HMRC. However, that's just what they're publishing. The real reason is that they believe that 3.5 billion worth of errors are processed by humans. So they would like to create a digital platform to alleviate and reduce these errors. So it's more about the revenue trying to reduce errors and increase their turnover than any of the other stuff. It will ensure a more accurate and timely submission if it works, and if everyone takes onto it. Producing things digitally and sending them digitally will speed up the process. That will happen. The problem obviously relies on the humans still moving to this digital process rather than staying manual. So it's not just VAT. VAT is the first part of it, but it will eventually roll out. So let's get into some of the key dates that revolve around this. The first part of that is the VAT, as I said. Now, HMRC kept pushing the Making Tax Digital process back, but they have landed on a firm date of the 1st of April 2019. Now, from what we've come to discover, that means it is everything from the 1st of April 2019 for VAT. So the first quarter that will be on the under the VAT Making Tax Digital will be the June quarter, June 2019 quarter, due for submission 7th of August. So that's the first one that's on there. This applies to every company that is currently VAT registered and above the VAT threshold of £85,000. I'll talk a bit later about why that might become more applicable to you even if you're not currently VAT registered or at that threshold. So the specifics of how you become compliant for this are you need to have a program that has an API, application program interface. What that effectively is a link between a piece of software and the revenue's digital base, as it were, so the actual place you're submitting to. There are currently quite a lot of software providers that are making this switch. The main one we are focusing on is Zero. That's the one we believe is best prepared, and that's currently why we have everyone trained up on it. All the API does is form a digital bridge between your software and the revenue. And that's all it's trying to do. It's basically a bridge between them so that the revenue can look on their side and they can see everything on your Zero, which I know sounds scary, but it is the main thing. It's supposed to speed up their investigations. Future dates to be aware of are the other taxes that will be applied, that will be integrated into the Making Tax Digital process. This, we believe, currently will start with personal and corporation tax in the year 2020, so April 2020. However, they have pushed this back before, and you can see VAT as more of a trial run. If it doesn't go well, I doubt they'll continue. Okay. So yeah, we've got the key processes you need to be aware of. April 2019, that's key date. Early 2019 is when they'll start really pushing this to everyone who's VAT registered. You'll start receiving letters. You may have already received a couple, but HMRC's push will be then. That will equally tie in with our push to make you aware of everything. We're currently going through our databases, going through our clients and working out how each client is going to be affected and how we get each client compliant. First return is the June quarter, due 7th of August. If you have deferred, which can happen, the reason for deferral will be based upon your specific requirements. This is the complex businesses HMRC class it as. So the ideas we've got there, the ones that they're currently classing as complex businesses, are trusts, VAT divisions and groups, public sector entities, local authorities, public corporations and overseas based traders. There are others, and if you believe you are a complex business, you can put this forward to the revenue and they will look at you. Whether or not they believe they agree with your decision is entirely up to them. Okay, so I talked a bit earlier about compatible software, how we use Xero. There are others. Sage and QuickBooks, the other two big giants in this world, are absolutely compliant. There are plenty of others being added, so if you use something different, you will need to check the Revenue's website about Making Tax Digital, where they have a constantly updating list with different softwares. Don't be worried if yours isn't on there yet. We recommend you being on Xero. Simply, it's the one we can use, it's the one we can advise you on. However, every software that deals with VAT will have to be compliant, otherwise it becomes redundant. So it is in their best interest to make sure they are compliant by that deadline as well. So don't get too scared if yours isn't on there. Maybe just drop them an email and they'll be able to get back to you with their updates. Okay, so the penalties for this. HMRC loves penalties. So the soft landing is actually April 2019 to April 2020. What that means is you won't incur penalties for that period if something isn't completely right. However, after April 20, that they will start to apply penalties for if you are not up to scratch on the Making Tax Digital. We don't know at the moment if they will retrospectively look at this pilot period. If they get your June 2020 return, they don't believe it's MTD compliant. We don't know if they'll go back and look at your 2019 to 20. They haven't issued anything. The safe bet would be to say that they absolutely will. So we need to make sure that that 2019 to 20 period, we've ironed out all the creases and everything's okay, ready to go 2020. So the interaction with HMRC, their reasons for this, I spoke a bit earlier about how it's a digital bridge. HMRC's recently been making a push for a greater use of data analytics. And again, this falls into that category. It will allow them to conduct more desk-based reviews, so they don't have to write to you to review and request records. They can see them all online quickly. Will speed up inquiries, will speed up investigations, and it will allow them to look for more errors. Again, one of their big reasons is to reduce the errors. So should you be preparing your supplementary data now? Yes, you should. We are still waiting to find out what entails supplementary data, but as soon as we know, you'll know. We will let you know. So don't get too worried about that. We will be advising as the process goes on. So why should you worry about it if you are below the threshold? I spoke about that, I mentioned I'd come on to this. You may have recently caught one of our videos to do with things on the budget. One of the things they mentioned in the recent budget was that the VAT threshold is being capped at 85,000 for the next 4 or 5 years. As inflation takes place, as sales increase. If you're a small business now, you may be a big business in the next 5 years. More people are going to fall under the 85,000 turnover. They are going to fall with the 85,000 plus turnover. So more people are going to need to be VAT registered. Just because you aren't now doesn't mean you won't be in 3 years. So you need to be aware that as soon as you are, you will have to be MTD compliant. So yeah, that's been a short presentation on making tax digital. As I say, information is a little bit, it's still coming out, it's a little bit suspect at the moment, and we're still reviewing everything. We're starting our campaign to introduce this to clients now, starting with this video. Next week there will likely be an email from us. Furthermore, we'll be going through our clients individually, and we'll have another mailer out before Christmas. So yeah, anything you need, just give us a call as always. Thank you. Bye.